Everyone in Partick is dealing with the same problems. Mice and rats is probably one of the biggest ones.
We just spoke to people in the streets. We asked them if they were tenants in the local area. Yes, no, what kind of problems do you face? And a really strong theme throughout all of them was that they had issues with rats or mice, or like the local housing association, Partick Housing Association, failed to adequately carry out repairs, so like there's holes in the walls so the rats would get in that way. So it was kind of it seemed like there was really basic immediate solutions to these rat problems. Block the holes, finish off the job that you started, and they won't come in. The central issue wasn't just the rats, it was people feeling that the housing association or their landlord wasn't accountable to them.
There's a distinct lack of repairs. We've had member defence teams working with tenants that have disabilities or illnesses, chronic illnesses, that are living in damp infested flats and homes, or unfinished large repair jobs where pipes are shown and floorboards are up. And I think some of the buildings are starting to kind of decay a little bit because of lack of maintenance. Regular repairs, technically they should be done within the month, but most people are waiting 3 months plus. So this is why a lot of people, out of frustration, especially when their health's affected, are turning to living rent to get the support and advice that they're looking for.
Denniston's one of these areas that's been pegged by property developers and bloggers and everything as this up and coming area. At the end of the day, Denniston was built as a working class community, and for a long time was a working class community, so gentrification's a massive issue. You know, we speak to people who are born and raised here who have to move out because they don't want to just rent and pay fortunes to people, and they certainly can't afford to buy because the value of the properties went up so much. Something like 45 to 50% of right to buy properties are now privately rented. So you've got, half the housing block, or the social housing block is now in private hands. Working class communities have become atomised and sort of shunted, so different people maybe move towards the east, different people go to the south, the north, whatever. Wherever they can avoid sort of paying the mental prices that they do. And what you're talking about is dismantling a community that's been there for decades.
There's not a lot of space in Partick that is zoned for housing development. One of the last pieces of developable land in Partick is down by the River Kelvin, wedged in between two extortionate purpose-built student accommodation blocks. There were proposals to build another block of student housing here, and given our experiences as a tenants union in Partick, who've spoken to the local housing association, who have said that they don't have enough housing stock. So we felt that the proposal to build another student block on the last place that you could have maybe built social housing was an insult to the area and to the community, and in no way reflected the housing needs of the community.
These student developments are like mini high-rises that are £900 for a room and access to a gym downstairs, but they take up so much land that could be redeveloped for people that actually live here and actually need that space. I'm not saying that the students don't deserve that, but if that housing was built for everybody, they could also benefit from that as well.
I think that there's something like 5,000 units of purpose-built student accommodation in the Partick and South Partick, York Hill area. The Housing Association, I think, have about 2,000 properties. So there's already a massive disparity, and it's changing the area, and people are being forced out of the area. People can no longer afford to live in the area that they grew up in.
There isn't enough concern for human beings in this city that I can see. It's all about the money. The private landlords have moved in, they've bought the properties that were for sale, they've got them, and they're renting them back to people at double the money. So my fellow tenants in the very next building are paying double what I'm paying for exactly the same as I've got. And some of them have got smaller than I've got, and they're still paying nearly £200 more than me.
You only have to look at the homelessness, the amount of homeless people in Glasgow, the amount of people living in fuel poverty. It's shocking the amount of people that don't have housing, and the access to social housing as well. So many people are forced into the private rented market, and then you get rogue landlords. So kind of rent controls and regulation of kind of renters' rights is something that the government have to act on.